Quick question. When a new client signs with your agency, who's the first person they hear from? If the answer is the founder or whoever happened to close the deal, or let's be honest, nobody for an awkward week and a half, that agency is leaving a lot on the table. And there's a very specific role designed to fix exactly that. It's called the Client Account Manager, the CAM. It's probably your role or the role you're moving into. And today I want to talk about the part of this job that nobody trains you on, which is what actually happens when an agency hands the client over to you and what your job looks like in those first few weeks of an account.
Welcome to the Happy Clients Podcast, brought to you by Dot & Company. Whether you're a virtual assistant, an agency owner, or a client-facing account manager, we all deal with clients. Lucky for you, client management is what we do best. Now, let's dig in, chat cam life, and have some fun along the way. Cheers to happy clients.
E2M is a proud sponsor of the Happy Clients Podcast. If you're running a digital agency, you know the hardest part isn't getting clients. It's delivering consistently without burning out your team or hurting margins. E2M helps agencies scale confidently as a behind-the-scenes, white-label fulfillment partner. From web development and SEO to paid media, US-based content, e-commerce, and even AI, they plug into your agency so your clients get great results under your brand. No freelancers, no chaos, just reliable delivery that helps you keep clients happy and growing. Find out how E2M can support your agency at e2msolutions.com/dot. Welcome back to the Happy Clients Podcast. If we haven't met yet, at Dot & Company, client account management is the entire thing that we do. We've embedded training client account managers into digital marketing agencies, and we've done a lot of these handoffs, hundreds if I'm honest. So I want to walk you through what this role really looks like, specifically from the moment a client becomes yours as the client account manager. Because here's what I see all the time. Account managers get hired, they get a quick orientation, they get pointed at 3 or 4 accounts, and they're kind of just expected to figure it out, which first of all is not okay. And second of all, no matter so many client account managers feel underwater for their first 6 months or so. So today, this episode, I wish someone would have played this for me when I started, but hopefully this helps you in the day-to-day of being a client account manager. We're going to cover what a client account manager actually owns inside an agency, what a clean handoff from the founder or the salesperson looks like, what the first weeks on a new account should feel like, and how this role works in 2026 with AI and hybrid teams in the mix. So let's go. Let's start here because this is the question I get most asked by account managers, and the answer is way simpler than people make it. So what do you, the client account manager, actually own inside the agency? You own the relationship, full stop. That's your asset. That's your scoreboard. That's the thing that lives or dies by what you do. Everything else flows from that relationship. You do the project coordination. Yes, you run the communications, you wrangle the team, but all of that in service is one thing, keeping the relationship between the agency and the client healthy so that the work can happen and the contract keeps renewing. And here's the part that actually matters. The founder doesn't own that relationship anymore. Once a client is handed to you, you are the agency in that client's mind. When they think about working with the agency, they think about you. When they're happy with you. When they're frustrated, you're the first to hear for it. And that's a lot. I know how that feels, but it's also why this role is so high leverage. You're not a cog in the machine. You're the relationship the agency's entire revenue is built on. So treat the role with that much respect. The handoff. Let's talk about the part that nobody discusses. The moment a new client transitions from whoever closed them, usually the founder or a salesperson, over to you. Most handoffs are kind of disastrous, if I'm honest, and let me describe one. So this happened in real life, but the founder forwards you an email thread that was like 47 messages long between them and the new client. And they say something like, hey, this is the new client. Can you take it from here? And that's it. That's the handoff. And now you have to figure out what was promised to that client, what the timeline actually is, who the stakeholders are on the client side, what the budgets are, what was discussed in the sales calls that didn't make it into a contract, of course, and how the client likes to communicate. So good luck. Here's what a clean handoff actually should look like so that you know what to push for. You should be getting a copy of the signed scope and a contract, a recording or a summary of every sales call, a list of every promise that was made, including the off-the-cuff ones, the names and roles of every stakeholder on the client side, the agreed kickoff date, and whatever context the founder picked up about the client's personality, their preferences, and their actual goals. If you as the client account manager are not getting that, and most are not, you need to ask for it. And I want you to feel zero awkwardness about asking. This is not you being demanding. This is you protecting the relationship the agency just spent months and probably thousands of dollars to win. And here's a pro tip for you. Make a one-page handoff template for the founder or the salesperson. Send it to them and say, hey, going forward, can we fill this in for every new client before I take it over? Most founders will say yes, because they hate the chaos as much as you do, and they've never had a system. So hopefully this will win you some really strong relationships from the get-go. So next, let's talk about the first few weeks on a new account. So after that handoff has happened, whether it's clean or messy, doesn't matter, the client is yours now to take care of. What do those first few weeks actually look like? So week 1 is really about earning trust, not delivering big results, not trying to impress them, earning trust. And that looks like sending a warm intro email within 24 hours, hopefully less than that, of the contract being signed. Booking a kickoff call as soon as possible within the first week, showing up to that kickoff call super prepared so that they know that you've read the scope, you know who's in the room, and you have a really clear agenda. Then you're sending a recap within a few hours of the call. You're doing what you said you'd do on the day you said you'd do it. That last one sounds super basic, but it's the whole game that we're playing as account managers. Most clients have been burned by an agency that disappeared after onboarding. And if you simply do what you said you would in the time frame that you said you would, you're already in the top 25% of agencies that they've worked with. And I'm honestly not trying to be dramatic, but that is the bar that is set within our industry. So week 2 is about getting your team aligned. So we're doing the internal kickoff, we're briefing the specialists thoroughly on what's to come. And you're there to make sure that everyone knows what's being delivered on what timeline and what success is going to look like. You're setting up the project in your tool, maybe that's Asana or ClickUp, and you're getting those recurring meetings on the calendar. The shared folders are organized and your client is set up in the CRM properly. You're just getting all your ducks in a row, making sure that all that boring stuff, which is still critical, you're making sure everything's organized. So we want to make sure that this step is not missed, or else you're going to feel it in the next few weeks. Week 3 is all about establishing the rhythm. So how often will you and the client communicate? Are you meeting? Is this weekly, monthly? When are those check-in calls? How's the feedback going to be delivered? And what's that escalation path if something goes sideways? If you set the rhythm in week 3, the client is going to follow it. And if you don't set it, then it's going to feel really reactive for a very long time. So make sure you're setting that rhythm early. And then by the end of week 4, the relationship should feel established and calm and predictable. And really you feel like you can kind of slow down to speed up because that foundation is built for you and you've built that foundation with your client. So let's talk about what our role as account managers look like in 2026. First, AI is your assistant, not your replacement. And the client account managers who get this are thriving. The ones who are pretending that AI doesn't exist are going to struggle in their role. We need to be using AI, things like Chat, GPT, or Claude to draft our kickoff agendas, use the AI features in ClickUp or in Asana to pull out those action items. We need to use the AI features that are already baked into our tools that we're using every day. And by using this is not going to replace your judgment. It's giving you back hours in your week so that you can spend more time on the actual relationship with your client. Second, most agency teams are now hybrid or fully distributed. Ours is completely remote, so I totally understand how this works. Your designer might be in one time zone and your client's in a completely different time zone, and you're generally the only person who has this full picture of what's happening on an account in real time. And truly, that is our whole job. We need to make sure that everything is clean and clear and we can see bird's eye view the whole project with the whole client. So the client account managers who are really excellent, they're great at their job, are the ones who agencies are fighting to keep because they get this. They understand that they're leveraging AI to make them better account managers. And lastly, in 2026, the bar for what clients expect from a client account manager skyrocketed. It's so much higher than it used to be. 5 years ago when I started, more than 5 years ago, we could get away with kind of being this coordinator, this really polished coordinator. But today, clients want their account manager to really have a full perspective of their business. And they want their account managers pushing back on a brief that doesn't make sense or bringing an idea that they didn't ask for and noticing things before they get missed. A really high bar compared to what it used to be. And that's why client account managers are kind of really growing in their careers. I'm seeing they're growing a lot faster than they used to because the industry is demanding so much more from them that they can really show these skills, and the great account managers will succeed. If you're somebody who's early in your role as an account manager, I want to speak to you for a second because maybe this is a role that you got promoted into, or maybe you came from a coordinator or marketing or sales, and maybe the title just landed on your desk and you're not really sure what this role is. Here's what I want you to know. Imposter syndrome in this job is loud, and louder than most roles in the agency. And I think it's because we don't produce this tangible deliverable. The designer made the thing, the developer built the website, and what did you do? It's kind of hard to point out. But here's what you actually did. You made it possible for any of that work to happen. You translated the brief, you caught the misalignment 3 weeks ago, and you kept the client calm. You were holding that relationship together. So learn the craft of client account management and take it seriously. You need to get good at writing super clear under pressure, get good at running calls and meetings with clients. You need to get good at noticing when an account is starting to drift, and you need to get good at saying hard things very kindly. These are real skills and they take real reps in our industry to develop. So be patient with yourself. The pattern recognition comes, don't worry. And honestly, if you do this role with care and you build a really sustainable, lucrative career out of it, I promise. The good ones don't stay underpaid. They get scooped up, they get promoted, they get paid for the leverage they actually provide. So be one of those. If this was useful, please share it with another account manager, especially someone who's just stepped into their role, because nobody hands you a manual and they will thank you, I promise. We don't make enough content for our own people in this industry, so that is what we are here to do. If you would like to learn more about what we're doing here at Dot when it comes to account management, head over to our website, dotandcompany.co, and I'll see you on the next episode.
Cheers to happy clients.